Good evening and welcome to the June 9th, 2025 regular meeting of the Lawrence County Council. It is 6 o'clock and we will begin this evening with invocation by Council Member Patterson, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Lord, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for bringing us rain. Also bring us warm weather as kids have gotten out of school and begin to enjoy the summer. I ask you to keep everyone safe as they do their summer fun. Lord, be with us tonight as we make our decision for this county and ask that you guide us in the right direction to benefit all. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is approval of our agenda. I have a motion that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0. Next item is approval of minutes, and we have 5 separate minutes. We have minutes from the May 12th, 2025 executive session, the May 12th, 2025 regular session, the May 12th, 2025 budget workshop, May 19th budget workshop, and the May 27th, 2025 special call meeting.
Motion to approve all the minutes as presented.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes as presented, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Next item would be special recognition. We have 2 this evening. And the first I would like to present is a resolution. It's resolution 2025-17. It's a resolution to honor the life of Honorable Joseph Joe McGowan III. Whereas Lawrence County Council acknowledges from time to time admirable services and tenures. Whereas Judge Joseph Joe McGowan III was born in Charleston, South Carolina on February 4th, 1952. And whereas Judge McGowan earned his BS from Newberry College in 1974 and his JD from the University of South Carolina Law in 1978. And whereas in 1979, Judge McGowan was admitted to the South Carolina Bar. And whereas Judge McGowan practiced law at Abercrombie and McGowan, the general walk-in practice of family law, real estate, personal injury, and criminal law in Lawrence. And whereas from December 1994 and through May 1996, Judge McGowan served as Commissioner of Public Works in Lawrence. And on February 10th, 1999, Judge McGowan was elected to the 8th Judicial Circuit as the resident Lawrence County Family Court Judge, where he served an 18-year tenure, retired in 2017, being successful mediation practice. And whereas on May 31st, 2025, the Honorable Joseph McGowan III entered into eternal rest. And whereas Lawrence County will forever be grateful for his dedication and unwavering service and extend our heartfelt thoughts to his friends and family. Now be it resolved, this the 9th day of June, 2025, that we honor the life and devout dedication of the Honorable Joseph Joe McGowan III. We have a motion that we accept this resolution. Motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. 7-0.
On behalf of the County of Lawrence, South Carolina, it is with deep pride that we, the Lawrence County Council, do hereby proclaim with extreme honor the week of June 15th to June 21st, 2025 as Waste and Recycling Workers Week. Whereas according to the Center for Disease Control, the eradication of many diseases in the Western world is due in large part to higher public sanitation standards resulting from the effective garbage disposal. And whereas the men and women employed by Lawrence County waste collection and hauling industry make the significant contributions to the safety, health, and welfare of citizens. And whereas the proper collection and disposal of waste and recyclables is vital to preventing disease, litter, and dump heaps. And whereas refuse haulers contribute to a tidy and clean environment. And whereas Lawrence County values and celebrates hundreds of trash collectors, dumpster haulers, sewage workers, street cleaners, and all others employed in the sanitation industry, serve the residents and local businesses of this county. Lawrence County Council recognizes the importance of this service provided to the citizens of Lawrence County and hereby proclaims June 15th through June 21st, 2025 as Waste and Recycling Workers Week in Lawrence County. Be it resolved and proclaimed on this 9th day of June, 2025.
What is your pleasure? We need action?
It's just a proclamation.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. Under reports to council, I'd ask Administrator Berkran if she would update us. It's not on our agenda, but the update for the general obligation bonds that we will be entering in tonight. We asked you to get a more definite number for us.
Yes, sir. Following the most recent county council meeting, the sheriff's office conducted a thorough review and refinement of the cost estimates associated with the proposed projects for the general obligation bond. As a result, the sheriff's office requests $2.58 million. This amount represents the most current and accurate pricing available, but it does exclude any costs related to the issuance or securing of those bonds. The 2.58 is strictly for the project cost.
Any discussion?
That number seems higher than some other numbers we've received. Can you give me the projection of those numbers over the course of the ask?
Yes, sir. The detention center new camera system is $776,000 approximately. The train HVAC system is $565,000. The door locking and control system is $256,000. The animal control building is $846,000. The detention center radios, $51,000. The detention center padded cells, $77,000. And for the floors on the new side of the prison is $9,000 for a total of $2.58 million.
You had, thank you for the breakdown. I had a 1.7 number in my head, and I think a 2.3-ish number in my head.
Yes, sir. The initial ask, without the animal control building was around 1.7. That new number would be 1.734 million. And that would be without the animal control building.
2.58 seemed a lot higher than the initial request as well. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for the administrator? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up on the reports to council will be a presentation of our new Lawrence County website. Ms. Cheyenne Knox, our clerk of council.
I'm gonna ask Miss Darby Jackson, she's our legal assistant. She has been helping me tremendously with this website. As you know, our old website was very. Sir?
Should say I believe.
Okay, yeah. So it wasn't user friendly whatsoever. So our goal here is to make something that our citizens were gonna be happy with. So our new Lawrence County website is an updated site that represents a major step forward in enhancing communication and engagement between the county and our residents. And you will see below that is our Lawrence County sc.gov. That is our new domain. When you go to our website, this is what the first page, the home page will look like. Just a little snippet there. I believe that is Musgrove Mill. Well, actually, that is Musgrove Mill up there. Very beautiful view. In comparison to our old website, there have been numerous changes. However, there are 3 big changes that have progressed our website forward. And that's being ADA compliant, making it more user friendly, and creating greater transparency with our citizens. So going forward into our ADA compliancy, our website now ensures accessibility for all users, including those with disabilities. This allows for the information to be more perceivable, operable, and understandable through various means such as alternate text for images, captions for videos, clear language, and keyboard navigation. By April 26, all South Carolina County web pages must be fully ADA compliant. We are over 50,000 in population, so our deadline is actually 1 year before those who have less than 50,000 population. Therefore, it was very pertinent that Lawrence County revamped our website just to make sure that we are compliant by that deadline. Our website, again, now includes all of this. The top snippet right here is for those with dyslexia. This font allows for those individuals to read the content easier. The second snippet helps those who are visually impaired, specifically those who are colorblind. As you'll notice on the left-hand side, there are numerous options to allow for more accessibility to all. I know this is fairly small, but after we're done here, if y'all have questions and want me to go through the website a little bit, we have time, that's up to y'all. We want our website to be more user-friendly, so it now offers and allows for multiple options in one place. This will better prevent our citizens from having to look all over our webpage to figure out what they're searching for. For instance, if you know you're wanting to apply for something, whether it be a job opportunity, a bid opportunity, high mileage, anything like that, all you'll do is just hover over the top banner on our homepage where it says I want to, click on that. You'll see the 6 options in the green. If you want to apply for a job application, it'll then populate all of that under apply for. Again, to be more user-friendly, we have the interactive forms. So each of these forms, when submitted, will be emailed to the department in which the form belongs to. For instance, the high mileage form will go to the auditor's office. The board's commission and committee seat, it will go to myself. And then the Freedom of Information Act request form will go to Darby. Again, being user-friendly, we always want the citizens to be happy. This is another example of an interactive form. However, any citizen who wishes to contact the county in an email manner can choose which department they want to address and express their concern or inquire about a specific topic. This form inquiry will be sent directly to the department head or the deputy director or the director himself, his or herself. This is probably one of my favorite options here. We have email alerts, which means this can allow for citizens to sign up to receive email notifications when changes have been made to certain web pages. As of right now, the only web page that is set up to notify if you sign up is County Council right now on the agendas and minutes. When we see a need for additional web pages to be added, or y'all have any suggestions for that, of what web pages that need to be added, we can certainly do so. So anytime we make a change or add an agenda to the agenda minutes in council, it'll notify that person that there has been a change on that website. So we always want to be more transparent. So we're going to have more calendars. We have fee schedules, county updates, central locations for financials, and then we have our Lawrence County Legislative Delegation. So the calendar feature is conveniently located on the home page and allows for citizens to see meetings, deadlines, events, park reservations, and anything else that pertains to the county. We've also been working with Andy Howard to get all of the park reservations on the calendar to allow easy access for those who are wanting to reserve park shelters or fields out of parks. So if you'll see at the top, you have different tabs. Those have just your events, your county council meetings, boards and commission meetings, park reservation calendar, and we've also added tax office deadlines. So whenever it comes tax time, delinquent sales tax and anything like that, they'll just be able to click on that and see when things are due or whenever they need to, when the tax sale is, things like that. Going along with the calendar, when a citizen clicks on a scheduled meeting or event, they're able to see the corresponding documentation and or provides a link to the agenda. So for instance, for tonight's meeting, if you clicked on that on our calendar, it has the time, it has the location, and the agenda would populate to our agenda and minutes page. Moving forward with transparency, everybody thinks of financials whenever you think of transparency, so we have fee schedules here. These are just a few examples of fee schedules for county departments. There are fees and costs for the assessor down in the green, solid waste in the middle, and then building and codes. Again, these are just a few examples. But having this information on the website will be more readily available at the hands of our citizens. Again, being transparent. The county updates feature is also located on the front homepage and allows for all county updates to be front and center. The county updates can include anything from event information to road closure notifications or anything y'all think that is pertinent that the citizens may need to know, or any department for that matter. I've said this before, but when you think of transparency, most of the time finances are the first thing that come to mind. Therefore, now when a citizen directs themselves to the finance department page, you will notice that all financials, including audits, financial reports, and annual budgets will be readily available to access from the department's homepage. And then last but not least on transparency, this is just a snippet of everything that's been done on the website, but more oftentimes than not, we receive phone calls regarding the Lawrence County Legislative Delegation. This information is now available on our website, which mimics the South Carolina State House website. All one would need to do is click the name of the representative information that they are looking for, and that information will populate below, like Senator Burden's right there. All right, how to get information and updates on the website. Any department head, director, deputy director can email Darby or myself. Any changes, additions, or deletions that they would like to see on the web page, and attach any corresponding documents will need to be sent to us. We strive to have the information updated within the next business day. Another option is to designate an editor. There is capability for a department to have their own editor on their web page. However, they would be responsible for maintaining the ADA compliancy, and we would probably just need to be discussing heavily with them the ADA compliancy and training them a little bit before any access to be an editor is given. Any questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't we have it for both languages,
For what?
Spanish people?
Okay, hold on one second. So if you go. All right, so right here in English, we have all of these different languages that they can be, they can look at our website in.
Appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for both of y'all hard work.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Ms. Knox? I'm sure we'll have some at some point.
Yeah, and just remember, there are gonna be some growing pains. Right now, we know that there are a couple forms that are not working, interactive forms. We've been in contact with the revised to resolve that issue, and they've been very responsive on those issues. So see any mishaps, if you see any hiccups, just let us know and we'll get on that as quickly as possible.
Pull up our picture.
Pull up your pictures. All right, let's see.
While you're doing that, when will the old website go down?
So we have 6 months for everything to migrate, just to make sure that everything is on this website that needs to be on that website. And then we will kill that in. Any other questions?
Hey, I hear it like this.
Well, I will say that editing with this new software is definitely a learning curve too. Most of the other pictures are that were migrated before we were taken over. So we will definitely work on it. Any other questions?
Appreciate all your hard work. Really.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before you step away, is there anybody signed up?
No, sir.
Okay. We do not have any signed up for public comment this evening. Move into old business. First, item is council submissions. Are there any council submissions for county boards, commissions, or committees this evening?
So my appointment for the ag board set up from District 4, Mr. Pete Coggins. He's active in the ag community. Families in the farm business, and his brother also in the cattle business. In addition to the landscaping business, I think he'll bring great value to that committee and do well. That's my submission. I have got all the information in Ms. Knopf on that for the record. If appropriate, I'd also like to make a nomination for the at-large, or one of the at-large seats. That'd be Miss Marilyn Easter.
Or the same?
For the same board, yes.
Okay.
For the ag board. I don't think she needs any introduction. I think everybody knows.
I don't know.
Miss Easter and all the great things that she does for the ag community. She also is president of the Farm Bureau locally, and I think just that position alone will bring great value to the ag commission that we've established here in Lawrence County.
So on the first, your appointment from District 4, Keith Coggins.
That should not need a vote or nomination. That's just for your
So the at-
information only.
The at-large
I believe that needs a vote.
needs a vote, correct? So we have a motion to appoint Marilyn Easter as an at-large member of the ag committee. For a second, you get a second. Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I will say Miss Easter is an incredible individual, and I got to see her during the Ag and Art Tour. She's very knowledgeable on agriculture.
I agree. She's amazing. No other discussion. All those in favor of appointing Marilyn Easter as the at-large member of the ag committee, please raise your right hand.
I will, if you're gonna go in.
7-0. All right, thank you so much for your willingness to serve on these boards. Item B is public hearing for ordinance 983.
Want to stay on that A for a minute?
Sure. Yes, sir.
I believe Ms. Knopf has a nomination that was submitted. I had a resident of the county reach out desiring to be on that committee. And I asked him to submit the document. There's a form online. I asked him to submit that to Ms. Knopf. I believe it was Mr. Nolan Burns. He lives in Mount Wolf. I guess that's considered Mount Wolf. I happen to know his family. They do own property. He's also an attorney. He and his wife have a agritourism event rental business that they operate on their farm. Given the nature of what we're looking to accomplish at the new ag center and the event space, not only his legal abilities, but also his personal experience in running venues, I think will be vital to that committee. I'll make that in form of a motion as well.
Is that the other?
That'll be the other large.
There's a motion for Mr. Nolan Burns from the Mountville area to serve as an at-large member of the ag committee. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
We have 2 at-large seats for the ag board, is that correct?
Correct.
Where that farm at everybody's talking about? Y'all calling out names, and I ain't seen no farms in front of me at all.
Are you talking about the farm in which he worked?
Form. It's a form.
Oh, the farm.
I mean, yeah, y'all keep calling these people names, and I don't see nobody's name nowhere.
You have a copy of this, submission, Mr. Burns submitted.
So that's what I'm talking about. You said we know these people, but there ain't no paperwork in front of me at all.
I have one in my email from Ms. Knopf, but I'm sure she'll be glad to resend it to you.
Thank you, sir.
Can you confirm that you sent that to us?
It was,
I have not sent it to y'all. The reason I don't put them in the packet is because it does have addresses on there. And that's the reason I don't put them in the packet. But if council would,
Now, all I ask is like this, we don't call these people names out. Leave have their names, so I know, I won't be asking who they are or what they don't. just calling out, telling you, put people on to community. We vote for people. I'm backing somebody that I know where they live and where they from, or where they don't. So y'all buddy system, I ain't no buddy.
So I'll go ahead and ask you.
I understand you
Be
gonna
done
say
with
that.
that, yeah. Thank you. Counselor, is there an issue? Should we hold this vote until we have the actual form that was submitted to review by council?
That's completely at your discretion. If you feel like you have enough information to do the vote tonight, I would encourage you to do it, but if you need additional time to review.
That's all I need. Any more discussion?
Now, we'll go ahead and vote me. I mean,
All those in favor of approving, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Thank you. Any more submissions to the board or anything? You good? Thank you. Item B, public hearing for ordinance 983 general operating budget. We will open this public hearing 6:26 p.m. Anybody wanting to speak in favor of or against the general operating budget, this is your time for public hearing. Seeing none, we'll close this public hearing. Go to item C, public hearing of ordinance 984 fire budget. We'll open this hearing. 6:27 p.m. Seeing none, we'll close this public hearing. Move on to item D. Public hearing for ordinance 988. It's the ordinance provide for the issuance and sale of not exceeding $4 million aggregate principal amount of general obligation bonds for the purposes that shall be provided in the matters related to what we discussed. This is the $2.58 million for the sheriff's department and the detention center. So this public hearing is open. Anybody wants to speak to public hearing for ordinance 988? Seeing none, we'll close this public hearing. We'll move on to item E, which is third reading of ordinance 988. A motion to approve on third reading.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? We do have our bond counsel here that, would you like to speak to it a bit? Be able to answer any questions? Thank you for being here.
Of course, thank you for having me. Certainly answer any questions. I don't think there's any material changes. The one thing I think we were requested after second reading was to make sure we had memorialized kind of the final terms of the bid. Knowing those numbers and knowing that they're hard numbers at this point, there's a bit of a statutory waiting period between third reading occurring when we would actually close on the bonds. The goal here would be to be closed sometime in the August timeframe, which is what the statutory waiting period would otherwise allow us to do. So we go out into the market with the bids that we otherwise had to solicit the sale of the bonds. Obviously not at the $4 million number that you'd be approving tonight. You're designating and delegating that function to your interim administrator to make the final determination on the final par amount as necessary to then be able to solicit the debt closing in August of this year and setting that millage around the debt that y'all have rolling off. So obviously you wouldn't see any direct millage impact associated with this new debt. Be done in line with the outstanding debt that you already have in place, so there'd be no tax impact in the way it's intended.
Any questions at all? Any more?
Thank Brent for your hard work, Lawrence. Oh, sorry. Thanks for you've been called worse, I'm sure. Thank you for all your hard work in this. I will say, I'm voting against this tonight. I expressed concern of the initial launch of this of the number for multiple reasons. We watched it grow from 1.7 to 5.8, which is, or 2.5, which is a 47% increase over the course of 3 months. And conveniently, last week, one of our vendors that we had bids on, forgot part of their bid and had to up their bid because they saw the council approve $4 million. So, the fish are feeding, and I was against that from day one. I think we should have had a harder number earlier on and set to it so we didn't have vendors taking advantage of us, like some of them have seemed to have do. But I do support the sheriff's office. I was the one that made the motion to go ahead and start the work, and I support what they're trying to do, but don't agree with the bond we're issuing today on the way we went about it.
So how do you know about a building and nobody else don't? That took, put a bid in.
Um,
And the chairman, the vice chairman, y'all knew about
we were made aware that the bids went up from one week to another.
it? So who get the bid?
Hold up,
Who see the bid?
hold up. So is there somebody here from the sheriff's department? Nikki, can you stand? Can you speak to the cost increases from the initial to where we are today, please?
Okay,
This is not about the cost, sir.
We're gonna figure out what he's saying because I have no knowledge of what was just said.
Now, what I'm asking,
Right, so that's what we're figuring out.
there was a increase from 798,000 to 845,000 for, I think architectural and concrete was not added to that price, so it bumped it up, how much is that? 75,
47.
and, the jail cameras, the guy giving the quote for the jail cameras, left some cameras off, and that, price was $85,000 increase.
And that's verifiable, but when you looked at it, the quote that we had did not include cameras that you actually needed, so we had to get those to make it complete. Okay.
And that's the only other increases. Everything else is.
Answer your question, Mr. Wilson, the reason I know is I've continually asked questions on the cost of these bonds going out, and I've attempted to stay informed on the changes, is why I was made aware.
I understand, but why you made aware nobody else? There's other people here.
But I asked.
I'll look
So
out.
all the increases that, Mickey, stand up, please. All the increases that went into what we heard tonight were absolute necessity items to complete the projects. Okay. It wasn't just a reworking of a quote, it was,
just numbers that.
okay, all right. Any other discussion?
So the only adjustment we have is an increase of 47,000 for concrete building expenses and then 85,000 for cameras. Is that correct?
And animal control still wasn't in the original ask, so yeah, that was 80 something.
846,000.
There you
Yeah,
go.
the concrete was left off.
But we had to have,
You had to have.
it. Okay. Any other discussion?
For my clarity and everyone else, just to be clear, the sheriff's office is only receiving 2.58 of the 4 million.
So we will only bond the 2.58. We will not bond 4 million. Correct?
I thought the 2.58 million, started to do the.
Plus any expenses for issuing the.
So when we started the process, we kind of put a rough swag out there. We didn't want to undershoot it. So we put a higher number and gave the flexibility to your staff to make a final determination on the final par amount that would be ultimately executed by you, the chairman, when we issue the debt. But the number would go out at a substantially reduced number below the, $4 million is going to be $2.58 million plus closing costs associated with the same. So I'd say somewhere in the neighborhood of 2.6.
But what I'm saying is, we getting $2.58 million. The dog pound, the animal control, you're getting $8.46,000. That's what I wrote down.
So the cost to update the animal facility is that 800,000? Yes, sir.
But that coming out of the whole.
Out of the 2.58?
$2.58 million.
Yes, sir.
That's in the whole thing.
Yes, sir.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And the one thing I did want to make sure is that you do have a number of your outstanding general obligation bonds that have rolled off. And you maintain that static debt service millage. If This debt is not issued, that debt service village would obviously need to drop for purposes of tax bills next year. So that would be something that would obviously need to be adjusted in your budget.
One last question for you while you're out there. Documents in our agenda packet, are they current?
They are.
Okay, I just noticed one number is 2.1 million for the official notice.
I think that did not get updated from the version that came in second reading. They were provided, but that is not the version. So those are template forms for what the notice of sale is going to look like. We're going to finalize those numbers when the notice of sale goes out in the marketplace. We'll make sure that we work with staff to ensure that it's the final number based on your.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. I'm gonna learn this book. I'm gonna learn these bonds. I'm gonna learn all this stuff. Next year, ain't gonna hit me in my face.
Any other comments? All those in favor of approving on third reading ordinance? Ms. Shirley, you voting?
Oh.
7-0.
Okay.
All right. Well, that was again fun. New business. We had item A, which was approval of resolution 2025-16, but I believe there was.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion, we postpone item A, approval of resolution 2025-16 until our July regular meeting.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. And for discussion, I'll just say this was added to the agenda and they would have requested it be in July. So we just are removing it or postponing it. All those in favor of postponing till July, resolution 2025-16, please raise your hand. 7-0. Item B under 10, council discussion on a moratorium on open space development for existing or new development that's open space or any not in the final approval stage. County Attorney Wes Metz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This matter comes to council via the planning commission at the request of the planning department. They are requesting a 6-month moratorium on one specific type of residential development in Lawrence County. It's an open space development. For the benefit of the council members who weren't here when you guys passed 926, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a quick overview of the developments we have in Lawrence County. You have your multiple family homes, that's your townhouses and your apartments, and then you have two different versions of single family homes. The conventional single family detached subdivision, which is, I think, what everyone they think of a neighborhood is one house, one driveway, one lot. And the other is open space residential development. Those can be attached or detached homes. The main difference between open space and conventional is you can get greater density in open space in exchange for allowing more green space for the county. The issues that we're running into with open space developments is that they're looking a lot like our conventional neighborhoods. And the open space is being nitpicked throughout the lots, which is creating density issues. We just need some time. The request from the planning department is some time to research it. And let me give you a little bit of background on open space developments. The intention of an open space residential development is which dwellings are clustered on the most available portion of the site in exchange for the preservation of substantial amounts of open space for environmental and ecological reasons. By the county allowing the reduction in lot sizes in exchange for more open space provided by the developer in turn is preserving natural and sensitive features on the development sites, as well as providing recreational space for the residents to use and improve their quality of life. The purpose of it is to provide alternative methods of land development that permits, again, variation of lot sizes, increases in the overall density. I have Bobby Smith here from the Planning Commission, and he will tell you a little bit more about the reasoning behind the ask for a moratorium. I want to give you the legal standards for moratoriums in South Carolina. They can only be accomplished by ordinance, so this would require the council to pass an ordinance on three readings of a public hearing. The best practices for imposing a moratorium specify the purpose of it. And for this would be to research and amendment to the land development ordinance, limited in duration, which is done with a 6-month time limit as proposed here. And once we impose the moratorium, get to work quickly on any research to the amendments that we need to do. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Smith and let him, tell you a little bit about why they're asking for the open space development moratorium.
Chairman, Council, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you this evening.
Bobby, is that on?
It's not on.
There you go.
That better? Hello? Okay, thank you for the opportunity to speak. Just kind of a backdrop, I appreciate what council has done. So I just did a little research. Ordinance 831 was put in place in April of 2017 to address a lot of the growth that we were seeing in the county. And that ordinance was, excuse me, modified 6 months or 2 months later in June to update because of all the growth we were seeing. That new ordinance 910 put in place in January 2022. The current ordinance was put in place in January of 2023. So you can see there's been a lot of movement on the ordinances just to deal with the growth that we've seen mostly in the northern part of the county. As has already been stated, the open space developments are meant to provide a denser development, but with more green space. And so, as I think it's about double. I think you can put 2 homes per acre in a conventional and 4 per acre in a open space development. So what we're really trying to do is strike a balance between lot density and the overall character of the community in the county. And so the updated language that we're hoping to get will help keep the spirit of the law from being overcome by the loopholes in the letter of the law. So that's the recommendations coming from Planning Commission. Take any questions or provide any further information if you need it.
Does anyone have any questions?
Let me see if I'm understanding this. Our old ordinances, if you had water, if you had sewer, half acre, you have at least a half acre lot. All right,
Public water and public sewer is 0.5 acres. Yeah, 1.5 acre.
half acre. And without it, 3/4. The bottom line is, half acre lot was as small as you could get in these subdivisions.
For conventional field, yes.
For conventional.
Was this not? Is this not backtracking?
Well, this is the ordinance that's already in place.
Huh?
This isn't in the ordinance that's already in place. This is an allowance, but what we're asking for is a moratorium on the open space that gives double the density. But it allows for more green space. I think what's being done, I don't want to speak out of turn, maybe Lisa can provide more information, but instead of having contiguous places of green space, it's being parceled out so that they're not really following what the spirit of the ordinance was trying to do. They're trying to find loopholes to go through and get higher density. So what we're asking for is a moratorium on these just to try to clean the language up so that they can't find these loopholes to provide. The developments are being more dense than what you had intended, sir.
Well, I just, when we was doing these orders several years ago, this idea of building houses in subdivision on 8,000 square foot lots. Now, we're not gonna go back to that, right?
That's correct. There's no intention of going back to that.
Huh?
There's no intention of going back to those.
Well, maybe I misunderstood it.
No, within the current ordinance, if you have a lot that has some things on it, maybe it's a wetland, it's something that you can't develop the entirety of the lot. We have an option for an open space type development where you could have more density, smaller lots on that property. But you would have to give up some of the other land, the green space, so a percentage of it would have to be left vacant. So you could have more houses on smaller lots in a tighter density and still have it under an open space development. It's not conventional, it's a lot. Ms. Wargo, could you step up, please?
It'd be for topology, it could be for wetlands.
Council members, my name is Lisa, I'm your planner. I think the common misconception of this type of development is that it only allows for more density on smaller lots. Ours has a problem because we are still allowing for that density, but we're not asking for enough open space.
Yeah.
So that is how our applicants have been able to get around this. And that's how we're seeing what we've been seeing in past developments, is because there's not enough open space. We're not requiring enough open space to offset the amount of density. So this particular type of development was actually created as an option, as a tool for those who have parcels of land that have a lot of environmental constraints.
Yep.
And once they have that, it leaves a lot of the property restricted as to where they can develop. So what you do is you take those buildable areas and you allow them to build the same amount of lots, or maybe a little more than what our current traditional allows. And allows them on the smaller lots and building them closer together. And the main idea is to centralize them with as much as you can, keep them close together and clustered so that your open space is all connected. Right now, we get bits and pieces thrown out. They put the homes in first, and what's left over, they give us as common open space.
Let me ask you this. You see the plan in front of you, yes or no? They show you their plan in front of you.
Yes, sir.
Who approved that plan?
Well, we have a technical review committee. So we have people, it consists of like 12, 14 people. And it's one of
Why
those,
they not catching it? Again, why somebody should be catching it? It ain't gonna be losing.
we just got, the last 2.5 years we've been dealing with all the old development. Okay,
I'm talking about to do now.
the new ones just started in January, actually. And we have several more that have come in pre-application that are looking to do open space development. I did not start reviewing plans until I was out here for 8 months. So I did not know about this. I did not see this in action. And when it was finally handed over to me, I was like, something's not right here. This is just not working.
So were you saying from the date, starting January, from now on, we should have green spot lots?
But we do have one that went through preliminary plan approval. And we are going to require them to go through the planning commission for review and public commenting. For this particular type of development, because it is different. It is different, and we want to make sure, we want to have second set of eyes on it, on what we're doing.
So that's all I'm saying.
Will that plan be good? Will that be a variance request for the planning commission, or that just be a regular request?
No, even at the TRC, our responsibility is to judge something against the code. And we have to make sure it meets all the codes. And if it does, we have no other option but to recommend approval. But with this particular one, we want more public input. And we want a second set of eyes and ears on it. So we are going to add that each of the open space developments that are proposed, that they have to go through the planning commission for approval.
I understand Mr. Metz correctly, like the open space development, there are other housing developments that are not considered open space, that is its own. Did I understand that correctly?
Right now,
Well, we're doing a moratorium on open space development. There are other developments that are not considered open space.
Yeah, they're called conventional. If you hear them say
Conventional, yeah.
Would it be unwise to include those in the moratorium? I mean, does it have to?
I don't see many problems that we're having with those because we're not getting them.
Sure.
The developers have figured out that they're getting twice as much density under the open space, so everything they're bringing in is open space. So we have to correct that first, and then they have the option. Also, there's a lot of different, we have a lot of different options in how we can do it. Some local governments don't allow you to build an open space development unless you have a certain percentage of environmental restrictions on site. So that you don't have somebody coming in without any issues environmentally and trying to take advantage of this.
Sure. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
So we're swapping out smaller lots for more green space.
Correct.
I don't like that.
You got a lot of
That's
cats.
the whole idea. Not make a bunch of trashy subdivisions with little binky lots. I was working in subdivision this morning, built back in the 60s, and these lots were 1 acre lots. In the 60s, that's a long time ago. This was still a nice subdivision. Big lots. That would, Yeah, they got 4 acre lot. I don't think that's what Cleveland Martin County wants.
Just be clear, that's already on, this is already on the books.
Huh?
What we're talking about is already in place. We're talking about putting a moratorium on what's already in place
Okay.
to give us 6 months to help clean up the language.
With this moratorium, we can go back and forth on this open space and conventional lot, right? Figure out where we wanna do it.
Well, currently for conventional development, we don't have any open space requirements at all.
But to answer your question more directly, yes, we'll be able to address the concerns that we have with the types of development, yes.
All right, so I have a question for one of you, both of you, whoever wants to answer. So as Mr. Matt stated, we need to pass this by ordinance, which would be 3 months, and considering there's no first reading tonight, that would put us first reading July, third reading in September. It's 6 months following that,
We could have call meetings.
30 to 45 days is very minimal. What impact does that have, that delay in having this moratorium?
We have 2 under review right now, but we are looking at quite a few more coming in. Like from our pre-application meetings, we have an idea of like, what, it's gonna be impacted.
And the 2 in approval currently, are they in, or any in final approval stage for open space?
We have Brentwood, that's in preliminary approval. We gave that through the TRC. We are bringing them back through the planning commission once they submit their construction site plan. For the same reason that we want to turn this ordinance around on. We also have Cambridge Farms project, which is a good example. I'll say that.
Now, the map in front of me that I'm looking at, when you did name, Rick, what development, where that located?
Stuart Gary Road.
Fountain
Mountain.
They're looking at it, they don't tell you that part, no location, I'm maybe don't.
That's just the example of what open space development looks like with the surrounding green spaces.
That's what they're submitting right now. Those are the 2 that we have submitted right now that we're reviewing. The other one is near the back. It's next to the Clinton City Arm.
Gotcha. Thank you, ma'am.
Will those 2 be grandfathered in though, even if we pass a moratorium?
That is for y'all to decide.
So are y'all gonna wait 3 months to bring them before the planning commission for us to make a decision, or when is it supposed to go before you guys?
Proposal that we were bringing, was under the assumption there'd be a resolution. There'd be an immediate moratorium put in place, and anything that was not in final stages of approval would be halted at this point.
These new subdivisions here, are they under the guideline of those ordinances that we passed several years ago, or did they get in under the wire before we got a pass?
That is our current open space development that these 2 are under, or that they submitted under, and those were like, it was 2 ordinances ago. What they did is they took what Greenville County had at the time and just copied and pasted. And when we did the last update with 926, we didn't have the time to address that section. So that's,
Are they supposed to be following our ordinances that we passed?
yes, sir.
Well, if they're following our ordinances, how can they get a 1/4 acre lot? I remember not say that.
I'll build this because our ordinance allows it to. The minimum lot size for open space development is simply a 1/4 acre. A minimum lot size in a conventional neighborhood is a 1/2 acre. So if they do this open space development, they can cut their lot size in half. They can also minimize their setbacks and their side and their front yards. So open space developments, which is allowed under our current ordinance under 926, allows them to build a house on the 1/4 acre.
It's open, is open space. Is that type of development listed in that ordinance that we got on? It is?
It is currently part of ordinance 926, which is why we're asking, which is why the planning department is asking for a moratorium, a pause on this type of development. Because what you're seeing is not what was intended. These were supposed to be rare instances in which there were environmental issues that prevented the entire lot from being developed. And they're finding ways around that. So that's why we're asking for a pause on just this one specific type of development. the development that allows for a quarter acre so that we can revise this ordinance to make it more in line with what the intent was.
All right, any other questions from council?
Can we make a decision on it tonight?
So I was gonna ask you, does anyone want to take action to move forward with, moving forward with the moratorium on the open space development?
For 6 months.
The recommendation was for a period of 6 months.
And deciding who gets grandfathered in, when will that be? Or if they will be grandfathered in, rather, if they will be. When can we can do that tonight.
So because if any changes to the existing ordinance that we do, any restrictions we put on it have to be done through an ordinance. Correct?
That's right.
And so we have to follow the process, so we cannot put those restrictions on anything until we have passed this through.
To answer your question, though, we can have the discussion tonight. First reading can say whatever, second reading, it in theory could be changed all the way up until third and final.
Right. Gotcha.
If that answers your
Yeah.
question.
I believe most everyone came here tonight believing we could pass this by resolution. Hearing now that this can only be ordinance and a best case scenario be end of July before anything happens. If I'm a developer, I'm making sure I'm in final approval stage by end of July. Personally, I don't see the need to.
In theory, yes, but in practicality, no, because you have to submit to our TRC, which has certain deadlines by which they would have to submit 30-day waiting periods. I don't think they would be reviewing any plans until at least August or September. That may be somebody trying to sneak it in under there. So in practical terms, no, it's gonna be really difficult for them to do that.
Okay, thank you.
If we go to 6 months and we get our problem solved in 2 months, we can call off that 6 month time, right?
That is correct, and I will give Ms. Varga credit. She's already started working on doing the research for this already. So we'll be ready to hit the ground running. There's a chance that we could have something before council, way before the 6 month deadline.
Bobby, do you anticipate this coming through planning commission before council, or how do you see this looking for the revamp?
I mean, that's up to you guys, however you decide to do that. We're happy to participate in whatever degree you'd like to have us involved.
I'm Casey Robinson, I'm on the planning commission, I look at it that way. Don't need that.
Come on.
We would very much like to be involved with that process, if at all possible. We had requested initially to have a workshop between the county council and the planning commission. I would love to see it go that way.
I don't believe,
I'm speaking for me.
I think there's others on the commission that felt that way.
That was the consensus I got the night we put this on the table. So, to answer your question, yes, we would like to be involved.
I will second Mr. Casey. I do think that's a great idea.
As well as the zoning and land use task force. I know there's some overlap between those two committees, but definitely have all of y'all, or in my opinion, would be very beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, historically, all of the mobile home, the RV subdivision, they all come up through, at some point, came through the planning commission. Correct. And that's not, I didn't know if it was, I think it should do the same thing.
I agree, guys. Thank you.
I'll just say I gave you guys acknowledge the fact that you have worked. I know some of you have been on here longer than others, but it's been a lot of work to try to get these ordinances in place as we see things coming. I don't think any of us could have seen 10 years ago what we were going to be dealing with. And so I think the moves that have been made to try to fix the problems that we found have been reactionary. Hopefully, I mean, this is a reactionary thing. Hopefully we get ahead of this. I think that's what Casey's trying to say. I think we all have some ideas that if we could work together, place these things out. It may take 6 months to get that done, but I'd love to see us do that and come out with a product that we don't have to continually come back to the well and ask for changes to, if possible.
Do I have I'll entertain the motion that anybody has to move the process forward with the county attorney to direct a moratorium ordinance for us to review.
6 months.
6 months.
So moved, I'll make that motion.
Second. Motion and second. Any discussion?
We'd just like council to consider, we know we have issues in place with 926, and personally, I believe issues with 970 when it comes to mobile homes. There's a lot of rules in there that not only make it easier for developers to come in and get around, but also beat up the residents that we're trying to serve, a lot of things that we're trying to accomplish. And I don't believe that was the initial meaning when these ordinances were passed. But given the time period that's gonna take to get this ordinance through, I don't see why we can't start working on the process of changing that ordinance in the meantime.
Which ordinance are you speaking to?
You got
We'll say
9:26 and 9:70.
9:26 and 9:70.
Well,
I say 9:70, but that's personal, 9:26.
So I'm going to, this personal comment would be that we're going to have a moratorium on the open space to give us time to have input, and that may lead to other changes that need to be made within 9:26. So to answer you more directly, that things that come up could be recommended for changes as well.
I need to see 9:26 and 9:70.
9:20, they're both, I'll send you links for that, they're online on the county website. Yeah, Matt's, I'm sorry, go ahead. We'll say, all right, we got 3 readings and we place a moratorium on open space development. To remove that, we would also have to have 3 readings. Let's say we decide to be month 1 after it's passed, or month 1 of the moratorium, everything's ironed out. We want to take that moratorium off, because that still take 3 readings and get us to month 5.
Safest way would just be to put a moratorium that automatically ended. So you wouldn't have to have the ordinance to end it. So say you can place 6-month limit on it, and in 6 months it's over, you don't have to do anything else. The only time you'd have to come back is if you want to extend. So I'd recommend just picking a date and putting that as the final date.
We've also previously worded them, Matthew, that 6 months or until, which I was getting ready to ask this question. Historically, we've done a moratorium when a new ordinance has been introduced. And so we would say X amount of time, or when our upon passage of ordinance X, Y, Z.
Thank you.
So we could, which my next question was, do we have an ordinance we're planning on introducing between now and the end of the 180 days?
Yes, that is the goal, is to have a new amended ordinance to present.
Any other questions? The motion has second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 7-0.
No, I didn't read that.
Oh, you did?
Chairman, no, sir.
All right,
Opposed? 6-1.
all those opposed? You know, it's 6-1, Councilman Patterson in opposition. It's us to county council comments. I will start with Mr. Lane.
Yeah, thank y'all for coming. As always, it's an honor to serve with these people up here. I will endorse the idea of a moratorium. I think it's a great idea. If it was up to me, would have it for much longer than 6 months, but it's not practical. But yeah, if you have a problem, or you have a problem, you need something, let me know.
Councilman Phillips.
Good afternoon, everybody. I didn't get in time to speak to everybody. My first comment tonight is about the Hind Farm, human resources. The only time we finna pay out $45,000 to go out here and find somebody for the county military. My goal is go ahead and keep Ms. Ferguson in that role, since we already put her at the pay level at that grade. And my nomination is to have Mr. Andy Howard at the deputy director. And that's what on my table that I got said, because we already in the tight budget for this year. Why are we gonna wait $45,000 to go out here and find somebody?
So, point of order, that is not a topic we're discussing. We've already voted.
It's my comment, sir.
Okay.
So that's all I got to say.
You do, thank you. Miss Flora.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just want to say, Ms. Garrison, would you help me out when the next plan and zone meeting?
This coming Thursday, the 12th at Ford Elementary. June 12th, 6 o'clock, yes,
Okay, the
Yes.
12th.
the 12th,
Okay,
Thursday.
it's coming Thursday at 6 o'clock. I just want to put it out if y'all available. Spread the word to come out to get the information for the land use for Lawrence County. I think District 5 representative, but Mr. Garrison, I thank you all for what you all are doing on that part. I attend the last meeting, the district, 3 up in Great Court. We had a nice turnout. So it was good to see people come out, all over every district to get the information and ask questions. So I encourage all of you to contact some people to get them come out before at 6 o'clock for that as well. Also, this coming Saturday, Juneteenth downtown historical Lawrence, do come out to support Juneteenth for this month for Lawrence County. Basically, that's all I have. Thank all of you for coming out. Safe travel. Thank you.
Mr. Youngs.
Yeah, I like to see us work together with the planning commission. Cause I'll tell you right now, I'm not buddy with these developers. All this mess is going on up my district for the most part. And, no, the idea, these out of state developers coming in and trashing my district up or even any part of the county. I want us to make variances, rare things speak. I wanna make it hard on them.
Thanks, sir. Nothing Patterson. Thank you, sir.
I want to thank the folks from the planning commission that are here for doing the hard work and addressing the issues that council missed when we pass ordinances. And that's unfortunately, I feel like a lot of that falls on your table. And it's hard and y'all get it from all sides, from the developer, from the citizens and everybody in between. So I hope y'all will be very diligent in helping us work on this one. And I ask that we do it in a timely manner. I think that's only fair to everyone, is that we do it timely. 4th of July is coming up. We've had a lot of spirited fireworks discussions over the few months here in county council. And we ended up voting to where the citizens had no restrictions, which upset some folks. I ask everyone to be smart and don't be idiots when it comes fireworks time. Stay away from people that have animals and livestock in the fields. Just don't be stupid. And while I know it's not common, please use some common sense as you shoot your fireworks this holiday season.
Be by that.
Thank you. I don't shoot fireworks around people's horses, Mr. Phillips. I leave back up all I can.
I ain't talking about no fireworks. I'm talking about this other.
Councilman Brown.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Want to congratulate again, thank you to the planning commission for all the work y'all are doing. Zoning task force, the meetings are great. I hope to be able to miss the last one for Ms. Clark, but I hope to be able to make it this Thursday. Also, congratulations to Ms. Easter on her appointment to the Ag Board. I know that her and Nolan will both be two great people to have on there. I'm very passionate when it comes to the future growth of this county. We want to see this county grow because I want to see the people my age that I graduated high school and college with to come back and move here, not to move to Greenville, Simpsonville, or away from this county and not provide this county tax dollars by not moving back. While I want this county to grow, I want it to grow in a responsible manner. I do believe this moratorium for this time period will be good so that we can work on this ordinance, but there's got to be some substantive changes to these ordinances. And I know that the planning commission and zoning task force as well as council, I know we'll iron all that out, but not only do I want the residents here to be able to voice what they want this county to look like in the next 10, 15 to 20 years, but I also don't want to penalize the residents who are currently living here with rules currently set forth in place. Again, I look forward to being a part of that. This county right now, we're going through some growing pains in different areas, but that's okay because growing is good. So excited for the future and appreciate y'all coming tonight.
Appreciate everybody that participated this evening, either watch us online or here in person. We do have some very passionate representatives sitting up here, and everybody has their own opinion on certain things. But one thing I will say, and Councilman Patterson spoke to it, we have in the past done things, and I believe Bobby mentioned doing things we've done by resolution maybe before. We thought that might be a thing, but we're going to do things correctly, and we're going to accomplish the goals we want to accomplish, but we want to be transparent above board. And so that's what the process will follow. I do appreciate everybody that's willing to participate, and the zoning land use task force and the planning commission showing up, getting the voice of our citizens is going to be a big driver for us. And so I appreciate that. Also, we do from time to time recognize our volunteer fire departments and the opportunities they have to utilize the resources they have and maximize those with grants. And so we do have a couple grants that were received in one of my district fire department, so I'd ask for just a moment if Greg Lindley could come and just speak to the two most recent grants from the Durbin Creek Fire Department.
Thank you. So, the Durbin Creek Fire Department, took it upon themselves to write the two grants, and they got both of these. One is a South Carolina Be Safe grant, $14,050. They're gonna be buying some new firefighting helmets, gloves, boots, and nozzles with that money. They also received just last week a G-Power grant for $18,000 to help purchase a new side-by-side for the fire department. So both of these are no grant money required from the county. They're 100% grant. So just want to let council be aware.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And with that, I do want to thank everybody for being here, but we'll entertain after she has a picture of Greg. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion second. All those in favor? This time it is 7-0.